What up, Will? DJ on the mic. What? Chopping and screwing like I do. And guys, I know you guys been blowing up my DMs. You're like, yo, the puppet list, hella fire, working beautifully. But I need that budget list real quick. And don't worry, I'm putting Promo Arisa to a side a little bit. We've done some cooking in the lab like Breaking Bad, and I'm coming with a nice budget list because puppets have got really expensive. I mean, before it was kind of okay, but now, sheesh, man, it's got hella expensive. Kaguyas are expensive, EX7 Cendrill's are expensive. Man, y'all need to calm down. But this video is dedicated to a fellow puppet player, always been spreading the awareness of my content and really help the growth. So I really want to dedicate this to a fellow puppet player, and they go by, you already know, Digimon TCG SP. They've been pushing my shit on Twitter /X for so long, and I just want to say a massive thank you. Really does not go unnoticed, and I really appreciate the support that you've shown me over the years. So hopefully this list is going to be at least a good start in order for you to get cooking and tweak it to how you want to play the deck. So further ado, if you guys enjoy this content, make sure you subscribe. We need 2K loving it. That's how we do. And if you want to see this list, make sure you sit down, grab yourself a drink, and get comfortable. So let's do it. What? Yes, sir. Okay, let's get that budget list going. Starting off with the eggs, still the usual suspect, and it is going to be the 4 of the BT22 Nyabootmon. This is just great because we are going to be deleting our puppet traded Digimon and also our tokens, so why not treat ourselves to a draw? Like I mentioned in my previous video, just make sure to remember to actually draw off this, because the amount of times I actually forget, it is unreal. And that is it for the eggs. Let's go then on to the rookies. Rookies is a little bit of a change and a slight increase. So the best in slot is definitely going to be your EX7 shoe, just for that memory efficiency is really key for you to kind of pop off. And also that inevitable just to shrink the opponent's security Digimon by additional 3000 DP is always the worth. Then we flow that into a searcher shoe. This is great for obviously just netting those pieces. Obviously getting 2 cards off of a searcher is always great. And once again, that inevitable is going to be just shrinking that enemy security Digimon by additional 3000 DP. Then we actually increase the count on the BT22 Shoemon to 3. The reason being is because we're actually focusing quite heavily on the Nyabootmon, and Nyabootmon does not give your Digimon blocker. So this is what this Digimon is going to be fulfilling. Is going to be giving itself or another puppet traded Digimon blocker, which is going to be really good. And then it also has the on deletion there as well that it can trigger to give something else blocker there too. Inevitable is really good because it enables us to minus 2k DP off of an opponent's Digimon, which is always the worth. And then we just lastly finish up with the 2 Hanimon. This is just great for that kind of recursion, especially if you just need to grab something from trash. Hanimon has got you covered. Also, it is a Yume, so if you just need to kind of get your trash set up, you can do that as well. But the inevitable is also really crucial because it's another way for us to stop an attack from actually going through. So having this and this can really help when you are at your top end and you may not have your Kaguyamon set up. So that concludes for the rookies, increased to 13. Now going over to the champions. Champions are pretty much remain the same. Obviously, the best in slot is going to be your Promo Shumon. This is definitely just an absolute inclusion. Like, no deck should not be running this. Just being able to obviously start off your main combo play of just getting that token out, and obviously it deletes at the end of the opponent's turn, which is the worth. And this also triggers on play as well, and obviously if it's proc from security, you do get to play it out, which is obviously going to be massive value. And then barrier is also huge there as well, just adds a little bit more stickiness to our Digimon, especially our main stack, especially if we do have blocker and we just need to tank a hit. Then we go with the 2 EX7 Shumon. This is just obviously for playing those Tamers. We do run a kind of a mixed bag of Tamers, and this is a Promo Arisa list that does not include it. So yeah, don't worry about that. It's budget. So definitely going to be leveraging these in order for you to play out some Tamers if you do need to. Obviously, we do lean more on the starter deck Arisa and also our EX7 Arisas. Then we go with the Kokeshimon, we run that at 2. It is great just obviously have this to delete any form of floodgates. Nothing's worse than being floodgated out, especially when we want to pop off and they say no to all of that. Also inheritable, same as the Hanimon, really crucial for us to stop those attacks from going through. But the thing that is good, once again, is the kind of further hand filter there as well, and also a great card to throw out with our Nyabootmon, because it means that we could effectively, you know, have a target to delete to neg 4k DP instead of 3k if it was obviously good to delete one of our tokens. And then lastly, the honorary member is going to be the Makimon. The Makimon is just key in order for us to ensure that we do not get DP minus or de-digivolved if we're at 3 or more security, or if we're at 3 or less, we are able to give something blocker and reboot there as well. And if you're at the sweep 3, you get all the effects, which is very handy right here. Depending on your meta, increase it if you want to. But that concludes there for the champions 9. Now going over to the ultimates. Ultimates, once again, kind of stayed the same. Obviously, the main playmaker is going to be Karikamon. This is just obviously key for us to just further pop off. Obviously, it's always a great day when you have this in your hand. The inheritable is pretty much the same across all level 5s, which makes this deck really well to effectively, you know, remain on the field, just because we can delete a other puppet trait Digimon or token to prevent it from leaving, which is always fantastic. And it also, the when digivolving, the effect that you get from when digivolving, you do get that as a non-player as well. So if you just need to hard throw this down, you've got enough bodies, you can just basically get up to a level 6 for free in essence. Obviously, it is going to cost us initial 7 to play that down, but it means that we've actually solidified our board a little bit better. Then we go with the 2 BT22 Chaperos. This is just an absolutely fantastic card for you to use your Shumons, and if you got Shumon in your trash, you're able to warp into this for the cost of 3, which is going to be helpful for us to kind of flow into our level 6s or our level 7s, depending on obviously the setup. But really strong card here, definitely value it, and it does come up pretty clutch. And then lastly, we do run the one of the EX7 Chaperone. This is just great in order for us to play out a actual level 3 puppet trait Digimon, not necessarily a token. So that obviously gives us full reign of our Shumons and also our Hanimons there as well, which is really good, especially depending on obviously our playing line. Obviously, sometimes we do want to kind of go a bit wider, so this definitely just helps on that. And also, if we do kind of throw down Hanimon is able to effectively, you know, open up a window for us to leverage our trash and get a core piece in order to kind of further pop off. So that's it for the ultimate. Now going over to the Mega. So like I say, this is a budget list, so assuming that, you know, Kaguyamon's still quite high in price, so I really want to kind of make this as budget as I could, but really help with the overall game plan that I'm achieving with this list. So we go with the 2 starter deck Cendrills. So the reason being with this is just for us to obviously generate more bodies, being the key thing. Obviously that is going to help our Nyabootmon minus DP threshold a lot higher, because we've obviously got 2 more Digimon out. So this is kind of more of a stepping stone for us to kind of go into an Nyabootmon, if anything, but it does have blocker and also enables us to generate 2 tokens instead of the 1. Obviously combo that up with the starter deck Arisa, that can open us up a great play line to do some further swings. So this list is probably a little bit more aggressive than the usual ones that I've done on the channel. And then we have 1 BT22 Cendrillmon. So the reason why we run this is kind of a similar premise. Obviously both either costs of 3, which is great, but this one works slightly different, is the fact that we are able to summon out 1 token, but we are able to trigger that when Digivolving effect again from the all turns if one of our other Digimon are deleted, which is pretty nice in terms of what we want to be doing. But this is going to be obviously our kind of main playmaker to kind of go up into Nyaboot, because we just want to build up a bit more of a wider board if necessary. But this is quite nice to kind of sit on. And especially if the opponent is kind of deleting our low level Digimon, effectively we can just then throw out another puppet, another token when we do the all turns effect, and then combo that up with your EX7 Arisa. That really helps us kind of generate an additional body on top of that. So definitely a lot of play lines that you can do with this particular mon. Then we just go with the 2 Kaguyamon. So if you want to run 3 Kaguyamons, absolutely fine, not a problem at all. But I've just, like I say, made this quite budget, but it's just because Kagurumon now is starting to kind of go up a bit in price there as well. But Kagurumon is once again just a fantastic card. It's one of the cards that really adds a lot of pressure to the opponent. It leverages our trash to get bodies back out, and then once again gives us that heavy aggression. Because we are going to be summoning out a lot more tokens, and we do have Start Deck Arisa in this list, I feel like we can still generate the same amount of aggression, just not in an alliance fashion in that sense. But the reason why I kind of like more of this is because, like I mentioned, we are leaning towards being at Nyaboot, which we do run that at 3. So Nyabootmon is a very powerful card, but they like Kagurumon and Nyaboot work quite differently. This one requires more stuff in hand versus Kagurumon's more stuff in trash, and then Kagurumon's triggers, all turn triggers, are kind of global in terms of, you know, if any Digimon's deleted, then I'll be able to pop lowest, but then I have to trigger it, so it's not optional. Versus versus Nyabootmon. Nyabootmon is optional because it is a you may, and when I trigger this, I can basically summon out a body from my hand, and then I can minus 3000 DP per Digimon I have out on field to one of the opponent's Digimon, and that's to the end of the opponent's turn. So there's definitely different kind of applications, but if you're driving more to kind of get into Nyabootmon, effectively you want to make sure that you've got the right Digimon in hand in order for you to kind of build out wide there. If you happen to have both of them out, then you're absolutely cooking. With this deck can search out quite efficiently with the pieces, so I think you are going to be okay with running Kagurumon at 2. But if you don't feel like you see Kagurumon enough, or you do have 3, then run 3 if needs be. But like I say, we're aiming to get to Nyabootmon, because Nyabootmon's going to add that nice bit of control there. For us, that minus DP to the end of the opponent's turn is huge, and because we are getting more tokens out, it is going to be probably minusing at least up to 12k minimum right there. So that's the kind of the spread that I'm kind of going with here. Nice and budget, pretty affordable. So yeah, we're keeping it safe on the wallets, people. Now let's go over to the options. So options, slightly rejig. Obviously you can flex it however you want. We do run the physical trainings at 2, just a great setup card, exactly what you need. Great in order for you to be memory efficient, also great to choke there as well. And then we still run the 3 emblems, because how I've built this list, I built it in a way that we should be pretty much comfortable to trigger emblem when we need to with the Tamers that I've got here, without the Promo Arisa being things. It is such a strong card in terms of you just cheating up the your Evo line when you suspend a Tamer. Well, you suspend an Arisa, let's get that correct. And then you obviously can reduce the next Evo cost, as long as it's a puppet and a Liberator traded Digimon, by 3. Is going to be huge. Obviously going into Nyabootmon is going to be huge, and obviously that's the main game plan there. It's a great setup card. You can get stuff from trash and your hand. It's beautiful. So that's the spread for the options. Okay, onto the Tamers. Obviously not using Promo Arisa, but we are using the absolute mainstay. It is going to be a Mirai, rocking it at solid 3. You can rock it at 4 if you want to, but I do find like it can be a bit cluttered when you come to mid game / late game. But early game, it is absolutely amazing because it helps you search out your deck, as well as help you set up your Tamers or additional puppet trait Digimon that you may need out by reducing that cost by 3, which is really fantastic. It's an amazing card, and the fact that you can kind of get instant value from this is fantastic, as it is not a delay, so you can play it, and then if you have enough memory, go up your line and blam, put it in the back of your deck and do what you need to do. Definitely a card that should be in most puppet lists. Then the massive change is going to be the starter deck of Arisa. We do run it at a solid 2 because we do summon out a lot of Digimon from effects, obviously our tokens and our puppet trait Digimon. Obviously we are able to suspend this to give that Digimon rush, which is going to be good for us to kind of get some early aggression and also help us trigger our emblems when we need to, because it is quite responsive in terms of when we want to trigger it. It's not necessarily we summon out a token and we have to then delete that token or puppet trait Digimon. This is basically when we just play out a token or a puppet trait Digimon from an effect, we can suspend this, which is really nice right there. And then we do run the EX7 Arisa at a solid 2. This is great in order for us to effectively get that board presence going, especially if the opponent happens to delete one of our Digimon. We are able to suspend this and we may play out a puppet trait Digimon. So this actually can still trigger emblem if we don't even want to play out a puppet trait level 3 Digimon, because of the you may, which obviously, you know, sometimes we may not have the actual card to play out that puppet, but because a puppet trait Digimon has been deleted, we can suspend it in order for us to utilize emblem if we happen to have it out. Also on top of that, it also gives us extra memory if the opponent has a Digimon out on field. And then lastly, we run the new BT22 Arisa at a solid 1. A great card right here because it enables us to do some pretty cool plays. It's like you're in archetypal scramble in a sense, because we are able to return this to the bottom of our deck, and we are able to play out an Arisa Kinasagi from our hand without paying the cost. And then if we don't have any Digimon out, we are able to play out a Shumon from trash without paying the cost, which is really solid. On top of that, if we happen to, you know, play a token or a puppet trait from a card effect, we are able to suspend this to then draw one. So it just gives us a way to kind of refill our hand where necessary. So this can kind of add up quite nicely, especially with our egg, when we are deleting a Digimon or a token. And then effectively, if we are then playing out a token or a Digimon off of that, and obviously our whole deck does that pretty much as standard, then effectively we can suspend this and also draw. And this is an all turns effect as well, which is once again really strong. But that concludes for the deck list. Hope you guys enjoy, and let me know in the comments what you think.